I came to America with $50 and a dream. After I started my business, I finally hit 7 figures. But then in one single year, I watched 27 people walk out the door. I had the money, but I had zero authority. This is the story of how I lost it all to find out what leadership actually means. I came to New York City with $50 in my pocket and a dream. I worked harder than anyone I knew as an employee and as a business owner. Eventually, I hit 7 figures. On paper, I was the epitome of achieving the American dream. But then in one single year, I watched 27 people walk out the door. 27 in 12 months. I had the money, I had the clinic, I had the fancy title, but I had zero authority. I was a successful business owner who couldn't keep a receptionist for more than 90 days. This is the story of how I lost it all to find out what true leadership actually means. Most business owners think that scaling is the solution to all their problems. You're stressed, hire an assistant. You're behind the notes, hire another clinician. You're overwhelmed, throw more bodies at the problem. And that's exactly what I did. Back then, I was addicted to the idea of growth. I thought that a bigger team meant I was a bigger deal. I was hiring people faster than I could learn their middle names. I was scaling, right? Wrong. I wasn't scaling, I was inflating. And just like when you inflate a balloon that has a hole, you lose air faster. On 1 week, first person quit. I thought, no big deal. They weren't a culture fit anyway. A few weeks later, second person quit. By the time I hit month 6, I was spending hours every week on Indeed, trying to find a replacement for the people who had quit the week before. I was in a hiring debt spiral. I didn't realize it then, but I was trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand. I remember one specific morning, I walked into my clinic, a clinic where I was paying thousands a month in rent, and the vibe was dead. Nobody looked up from their desks. Nobody was smiling. I called the huddle to motivate everyone. I gave the We're a Family speech. I told them about our vision. I even ordered free lunch. A couple hours later, my receptionist walked into my office and handed me her resignation letter. Didn't even say anything else. That was a turning point. When 27 people leave you in a year, you can't blame the labor market. You can't blame the younger generation. You have to look in the mirror and realize that you are the common denominator. If you're finding this video helpful, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. I realized I was hiring for skills, but ignoring the soul. I was hiring anyone with a license and a pulse, and the pulse was optional. I did this because I was desperate to grow. I didn't have a vetting process, didn't have a training system. I just had a checkbook and a lot of ego. I don't want you to pay the tuition that I paid. It cost me hundreds and thousands of dollars and years of my life to learn how to hire correctly. I spent the last few years turning the disaster into a system. And it boils down to the questions I asked during the interview process. It's the exact set of questions that I ask now before I let anyone in my team. If you're currently hiring, or if you're afraid to hire because you've been burned before, you need this. The link is in the description below. It's available to you free. Download it so that you don't end up sitting where I was, staring at 27 resignation letters and wondering where it all went wrong. Losing 27 people wasn't just a failure of leadership. It was a failure of systems. I was throwing bodies at a broken machine and expecting the machine to fix itself. It was what Einstein defined as insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. But eventually, I did fix it. I rebuilt every single process from the ground up. I built a framework that turned my clinic from a chaotic, people-dependent mess into a self-running engine that doesn't need me on the floor to be profitable. It's how you can scale without losing your mind or your staff. If you're ready to stop the hiring debt spiral and actually build a business that works, watch the next video.